Good morning or good day, like I like to say now in the remote world where people could be watching the recording later. Over the last 2 years, we were brute forced into a global experiment, taking us to work from home and having to adapt to doing this with kids jumping on our heads and, of course, being in a context of a global pandemic. I'm very scared of what could happen. But you know what? We were able to adapt and we were able to carry on. We fixed our internet connection, lights, and even personal productivity kept on going. I was talking to the CFO of a educational technology unicorn company, and he was telling me we were able to close the books, pay the bills, pay vendors, meet payroll, and so on. You could argue that individual productivity went up. But when it came to like getting together to solve those complex problems, maybe innovating about one process or getting strategy, we were missing that. Like it's not working out right now. It's not working out, and you could argue that team productivity is going down. And we are hearing this from all of our customers. Like there's 2 million people roaming around the mural community each month, and it's a common trend. People are not being able to perform the most interesting type of creative problem solving. And what is the common reaction? Let's go back to work. Let's go back to the office because in the office we were able to collaborate in this intimate way. And that pissed me off. Sorry. But the honest truth is that we're relying on things like the water cooler, right? That totem, that sacred provider of innovation to help us out. Really? Like, when was the last time that groundbreaking idea came out of the water providing device? It was mostly Game of Thrones chit chat. It was not really purposefully designed to provide innovation. And even, again, I love getting together with people and so forth, but if you pay attention to what happened in meetings, right? Some people argue that there's $4 billion wasted on meetings per year. Those meetings in which, again, it's not necessarily on time, not following the agenda, jumping into problem solving instead of understanding the problems first, or the highest paid person in the room keeps talking and talking, and the introvert in the back is quiet. And that was the status quo. That's what we want to go back to. I think we can do better than that because those bad meetings, those ideas that are being unheard, is hurting us. I think it's the biggest problem at work right now, which is disconnection. People are not being connected with each other, true human connection, and that's leading to disengagement. And people are leaving, and not leaving. They're leaving because they cannot be their full selves at work. Again, I think we can do better than that and not talk about where we're working, hybrid at work, at home, or whatever, but how we're working so that people, healthy teams, going through creative problem solving together can get to innovation and the business outcomes that I provide. Because innovation is key to keep on going in this never always changing world that has pandemics and other problems out there, right? So healthy teams, collaboration. It's simple. It's not just the innovation center or the innovation teams. It's everybody does innovation, improving a little process here, coming up with a new product there, changing our strategy. Everybody needs to innovate. We've been working for 11 years in this space, and because of that, and because I love football, not soccer, football, I make a lot of sports analogies. And when paying attention to high performing sports teams, in this case, Manchester City, sorry for all of the London fans out there, Manchester City, of course, goes to work in a field, stadiums, beautiful turf, and so a lot of like very talented, multidisciplinary individuals there. But they only form the team once they have a common understanding on their strategy, their playbook, their way of collaborating with each other, playing with each other in the field. And of course, they go and perform. And 90 minutes plus overtime, they do that weekly or bi weekly. But you know what happens in between games? People are studying, people are designing those plays, watching the recordings, tinkering and experimenting of new ways of doing the play. They don't leave play to chance. And they don't talk about where they are working. Well, of course they do, visitor versus local, but they are spending most of the time talking about how they work. We believe there's a new discipline coming, which is collaboration design. Similarly to how we don't leave product design or experience design to chance, we are not leaving collaboration to chance anymore. Collaboration designers have been around us for a while. Are the folks that tell you it's okay to draw, to show your ideas, even if your drawings look horrible. Or they come with the agendas and make sure that we go through deeply understanding our customer problems, and have everybody in the room participate when the moment is right. And of course, making sure they know who should be in that room so that we can move forward with our collaboration. These are the folks that have tried ice-breaking exercises and team warm-ups, and a lot of people have been rolling their eyes to them, like, oh, not another thing. And you know what? That cynicism is hurting us. It's time to change that. I was talking to the creative director of a group inside a Fortune 100 entertainment company, global company, lots of people all over the place, and how great opportunity was through the pandemic to flip how they were working. Before, they would get together in headquarters and go through how to best deploy a new brand launch, which is the problem they're working at. And they would create it, brainstorm, and then push it to the other part of the company. And the reality was that it was never like a truly global connected brand, because it was not designed like that from the beginning. Now he decided to change the way they're working. Not only digital first, because they were in the pandemic, but also he brought in all of the people around the world early on to deeply understand the needs and contribute from the beginning, and leading to faster turnaround cycles and also a more connected brand in different parts of the world. The business outcome was better, but so was the change in how they work. The story that he told me really touched my heart, because it was the same story that I had when I was starting this company 11 years ago when I was a creative director at Disney. She said it was the first time in 17 years with the company that she was able to participate fully in a project and bring her full self and a set of ideas, and not being told what to do, but participating in making sure the business outcome was the best one for the company and her peers. And that gets me excited that things like this are happening. What gets me more excited is that there's cases of companies that have taken these collaboration designs at scale. Let's take Autodesk, for example. Autodesk had to go through a big change in what they were delivering through the cloud, right? They had box products that they shipped yearly, and then they had to go to a continuous deliver software through the cloud to multiple apps. And it was going to be a challenge across the whole company. Not only product, the software architecture, how they build, how they sold, everything had to change. But starting from the customer is where it all happened. The user research team, Melissa over there, knew the buying patterns had changed. It's really hard for her to present these findings to the rest of the company, especially the technology architects that had to change how they deliver product through the cloud, right? So she found a methodology, a system of innovation called Luma. Luma teaches people 36 methods inspired for human-centered design to go through looking, understanding, and making solutions to those problems that you identify. So she brought the architects in with designers and product managers, and they deeply understood the buyer journey that their customers were going through. The architects were super connected, very empathetically to the problem, and they quickly were able to, following a series of methods, get to a solution on how to do our architecture that would support the future buyer journey that they wanted to provide. That was the first time that they saw that connection between the architects and the problem as deeply as they had. And the VP of engineering, Amy, noticed. And she said, this has to be the way that we do creative problem solving together. And this has to be a common visual language across the whole company. If not, we won't be able to change and adapt as fast as we need to. They decided to make Luma something, and the methodologies, something that everyone in the company would use. There's 3,000 people today formally trained in collaboration design using the Luma methodology out of the 12,000 people in Autodesk. There's a lot of folks in product, of course, but many in operations, in sales, doing customer discovery work, and even the C-suite. The C-suite, led by the chief of staff, Rob over there, makes better decisions, better quality decisions because of Luma methodologies, and of course, in a digital realm powered by Mural. This is big, right? 25% of their total population trained in collaboration design. And besides the story and really understanding our own client, in this case Autodesk, they gave us another gift. They made us look. They made us look at the collaboration data. We saw that folks that were using these methodologies were significantly more engaged than the ones that were improvising. We also saw that it wasn't just Autodesk. We're fortunate to be working with 150 companies with enterprise-wide deployments. And we saw companies like Intuit, IBM, SAP, and their methodologies. And when they were deployed together with Mural and a digital space, they were able to make change happen in their culture. But they were stitching all together. Methodology, the collaboration spaces, and the insights to be able to reflect and improve. So today, we are announcing something new. We decided to purposefully build a system to tackle this problem and deploy it at scale in the enterprise. It's a brand new category of technology designed for this. And we call it collaborative intelligence. And collaborative intelligence is a system to provide connection in your team, to bubble up the genius in each of the teams, because the genius exists there, and take ideas and insights all the way to become business outcomes. Let me walk you through it. So there's different components to the system, and at its center, you'll find the collaboration spaces. Collaboration spaces is where teams gather to think visually, share with each other, and solve the problems in asynchronous or synchronous, maybe in a remote world, and also bringing not only the visualization tools, but also facilitation and advanced features that our customers are loving today. Today, it's mostly 2D, but you can see in the future also VR to bring more intimate connection for team formation exercises. It's fully integrated. Microsoft Teams, for example, to have video, audio, and the space, and other systems to take the imagination work all the way down to activation. It's enterprise grade. We've been working with a lot of companies in financial services, consulting services, and government, and that puts the standards really high for reliability, compliance, security. This is the most important information that companies hold, like their ideas of how to change the future. So it's all grounded on standards and certifications that we've been spending a lot of time and money on. But we realized that we were just letting people collaborate without equipping them with the best practice and methodologies. So we're introducing the Collaboration Design Institute. This is where the collaboration design discipline goes to be formed. Self-paced learning, cohort-based classes with like-minded people, certifications, and communities of practice to bring these methodologies to reality in all of the teams in the different companies. Now, You can have and bring your own methodology, because there's a lot of you that have been investing a lot in defining the way in your companies. But today, we're also announcing that we acquired Luma, the methodology that helped Autodesk and many others change how they work at scale, so that you can bring the system of innovation and the content so that everybody can get a chance to become a collaboration designer, world-class one. If you need help from a human on bringing collaboration design into your team, or actually helping you, not just teach, but actually work with you, there's a community of 12,000 professional collaboration designers, many of which are certified for you to take to contact with. And we already had 300 engagements where we did matchmaking to help customers, for example, prepare for a very important C-level strategy workshop together with our people. If you're interested in getting certified, you can also do that today. Of course, you can teach and practice, but if you don't deliberately pay attention to how you're doing, it's going to be hard for you to improve. So we're introducing collaboration insights so that at an individual level, team level, company level, you can see how your teams are performing, how they're using the different methodologies that you have decided to deploy in your company. And in addition to that, an ecosystem view to see how you're doing with your partners and clients and consultants working to help change your culture. Culture is behavior change over time. And of course, systems without the human factors and the people are not enough. So we've been working with a lot of large companies like IBM to help them deploy their methodologies at scale and make sure that people have the confidence to go through exercises together. Now, you might say, this is all soft skills. Soft skills, I guess, like they're not important. They're super important. And you know what? The good news is that we now are starting to have methodologies to assess the business impact of culture change. Innovation, culture change is important. Like you can show here, IBM commissioned Forrester to study the teams and clients that were using IBM enterprise design thinking to change how they were working. And they saw better customer outcomes because they were more connected. They saw faster time to market because they were able to collaborate easy cross-team to shrink that time. Portfolio profitability went up by $18.6 million and cost reductions by $20.6 million. Collaborative intelligence works, not just the stories of individuals feeling the deep connection, but also the bottom and top line improvements. And all of these numbers sound massive, right? 3,000 people, 25% of the total employee base, millions of dollars in profits or cost savings. But all of these stories start with one person in one team, take the lead, become the role models, and make that change happen. So today, we're offering you to start that journey. We can support you with that. Go to mural.co/CI. We can help you with collaboration design in your team and then your company. Because imagine if your team or you had the skills, methods, and space to solve any of the most challenging problems you face. Imagine if your team had the trust, confidence, even the enthusiasm to make work feel like play. I believe that deep human disconnection is the biggest problem we can face right now. If we can sort that out and help bubble up the genius in all of the teams out there, by deliberately deploying this collaborative intelligence, we have a chance to solve for that and solve for many of the innovation problems that each of these teams have daily, weekly, and monthly. Thank you very much. See you later.